What's up guys, Electric Watches 1 here, and in this video we are going to be doing a review of iOS 9. Let's get started. So, in iOS 9, what is exactly new? What are the new features of this software update? Well, that's what we're going to try to find out. The first thing you'll notice is that this wallpaper right here is a little bit different. And if I go into settings and I go into wallpaper, you will see that we have a whole new array of wallpapers. Now the still wallpapers are the only ones that have changed, the dynamic ones have not changed. So if you go into stills, you can see that a lot of the wallpapers have changed. There are a couple of iOS 8 wallpapers, and of course the wallpapers that come with the 5C, which is the device I'm using in this video. But other than that, we do have new wallpapers. You will also see another new feature in iOS 9 is the multitasker. So if I double tap the home button right here, you will see that the multitasker is completely different. So it's more of a cards UI. It actually was a cards UI in iOS 8 and iOS 7, but in this case it's a cards UI with the cards being overlaid on top of each other, much like Android Lollipop, except the only difference being is that you have this new effect where when you swipe through the app switcher, you will see that the icons blur as you go further forward, which is a pretty cool feature. Yeah, another new feature of iOS 9, this is a pretty big one, is proactive. So if I swipe to the right, you will see that Spotlight Search is also accessible by swiping over to the right, but it is also accessible by swiping down. Now, what proactive does is it gives you Siri suggestions. So Siri suggestions are your contacts. So these are my contacts right here. This was in iOS 8 when you double tap the home button to get to the multitasker, but now it's right here when you swipe over to the right. We also have Siri suggested apps. So apps that you use the most frequently will appear right here. There's also a neat feature right here which can be accessed if you tap on one of these icons and go directly to the Maps app, and these are nearby. So things that you would, if you were traveling and things you need to get access to nearby, these are available, like restaurants, fast food, etc. There's also news, which is actually from the News app, which I will talk about later, but these pretty much gives you all the current events that are happening right now. So a new app that Apple added is the News app. So if I tap on the News app, let it load, you will see that we have 5 different categories down here. So for you is pretty much your favorites that you picked when you opened up the News app at first. So the ones that I picked are The Verge, CNN, and Wired, and you can see based on those 3 news distributors that I picked, I get articles from them. Also, if I go into favorites, you will see those are the 3 that I picked. And if I also go into Explore, you can explore different news channels and different topics as well. And search is the same thing. You can search all those different topics, categories. And then saved are pretty much news articles that you have saved on your device. So I believe you can read offline. And there's also history, so news articles you read in the past. So yeah, another major feature of iOS 9 is Siri. And Siri's UI has been tweaked by Apple in order to more closely represent the Apple Watch, as I will show you in this demonstration. How are you?
I feel good.
Alright, let's ask another question. What's 5 plus 5? Alright, so you can see that she's able to respond to questions fairly quickly. I'm going to ask her another question. Who's the CEO of Nokia?
Checking on that. It looks like the answer is Rajiv Siri.
So as you can see, she's pretty fast in response, and her UI looks pretty cool too. Now this next feature that I'm about to show you is actually a pretty big feature if you use your phone a lot, or your tablet, or your music player, or your iPod Touch. So if I go into settings right here, and if I scroll down, you will see there will be a setting called battery. Now if I hit battery, you will enable something called low power mode. Now what is low power mode? Well, low power mode pretty much allows you to reduce the power consumption on your iPhone. So pretty much what this is going to do is just disable a bunch of stuff and reduce the performance of your iPhone so you can save battery. And in my experience, it's actually done pretty good. I'd say it almost gave me about an extra hour of battery life. And as you can see, that these are all the apps right here that are taking up the most battery. Android has had something like this too, but this is iOS's interpretation of this feature. Now, sort of what I would call a minor feature, but to some may be pretty useful, is search settings. So if I go into settings again, you may have seen that right here there is a search bar for settings. So if I just want to type in something like Wi-Fi, you know it's right there. You can quickly access it and get to it. So that wasn't a really good example, but you could search for something that's necessarily not on the front page of the settings, and you can get quick access to it. So that's very helpful. So another feature of iOS 9, and this really isn't a feature, but it's just a visual change, is the font. So the font has gone from, I don't know what kind of font it was, but it was a really skinny, hard to read font, to a font known as San Francisco, and I believe this is also being used on the Macs. So pretty much what this is, it's a whole new redesigned font, which as you can see by this 207 is a lot more readable. So if I go into here, you will see that the font has definitely changed in iOS 9. I don't know if you can see it that well here, but in my lock screen you could definitely see that the font was definitely different than what it was in iOS 7 or iOS 8. Now in iOS 9, another new feature that has been added is in the Maps app, and this new feature is transit directions. So what transit directions allows you to do is pretty much, if you're taking the bus or train, you'll be able to see where your specific type of transportation will be taking you throughout whichever city. Now, I don't know how to use this feature. I don't even know if it's even out yet, but I believe it will be out in places like New York City, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Baltimore, I believe. I don't know any other locations, but I'll probably know more when Apple releases the final version of iOS 9. So another new feature of iOS 9 is the Notes app. So I'm in Notes right now actually, and what we're going to do is showcase the new features of Notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a brand new note, and you'll see this little plus sign in the lower right hand corner. So I'm going to hit on it, and then pretty much I can do several things. So I can make a checklist right here. So this can be like my grocery list. So I can say I want to get some eggs, and then I might want to get some bread. I believe I can check them off once I've got them. And I can also do other things, like perhaps add a photo from the photo library in order to paste it into my notes. Another new feature that I can put in is I can draw. So I can use any of these tools right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the Sharpie right here, and then I can draw whatever I want within my note. So I'll do a little stick figure right there, and I'll hit done. And then that'll be in my note, my grocery list along with that stick figure man. So yeah guys, pretty much that is it. That is the review of iOS 9, all of its major features. I didn't cover any minor features because I figured that you won't be using those features on a daily basis, so I only covered the major ones. Let me know down below if there's anything else that you would like me to review in iOS 9 if I have not covered already. And until next time, this has been Electric Watches 1, signing out.